Hello and welcome back to Quarterlight. Today we're going to look at a Japanese classic car. The first time we've looked at the Japanese cars, and we're going to look at the first generation Toyota Celica Coupe. The first generation came out in December 1970 and ran all the way up till 1977, replaced by, of course, the second generation. Now, the Celica was first introduced at the the Tokyo Motor Show in around about October 1970, and like I say, it was marketed in December 1970 for the public to actually get a opportunity to buy the car. Now, the Celica was an interesting car for sure. It's another of those cars, I guess similar to the Ford Capri, very much influenced by the Ford Mustang. And the Celica really was meant for that North American market, so it was really going after a Japanese alternative to that Ford Mustang, of course with much smaller engines though, although I think it's, in my view, a more attractive car than what the Ford Mustang was, to be fair. Initially it came out in 3 trims, the LT, the ST and the GT. This particular brochure seems to be concentrating mostly on that mid-range ST model, available as a 4-speed or a 5-speed. Interestingly enough, this brochure also came with the price list, 1974 price list in the UK for all the Toyota models at that time. So we'll have a look at that. So that's quite interesting to look at, to see what it fitted in. Was the Celica an expensive car? What were the range of prices in 1974? But anyway, let's have a close look at that brochure. Okay, so here is another quick look at that front cover of the brochure. Incidentally, the brochure itself is dated January 1974 and it is a UK brochure. Like you can see from the grille there, it is showing that mid-range ST model. Celica, incidentally, is a word that derives for a Latin word. I think it's Celicia. I may be pronouncing that wrong, but basically meaning heavenly or celestial. Anyway, we'll dig a little bit deeper inside the brochure itself and see what features it's showing for this particular model. So here we can see inside the brochure this larger picture of this brown one. The colour is simply referred to as being a dark brown metallic, and the yellow is just referred to as yellow. There's no sort of fancy names with this particular model. It tells you about the performance, which kind of like tells you the times really. You never really see performances thrown at you in modern or newer brochures, but here it's raving about this performance. 0 to 50 time of 8.3 seconds and 109 miles per hour. It's also showing a 41.3 mile per gallon at a constant 50. To be honest with you, I would be happy with them sort of performances even in a modern car. So then it was pretty impressive what them figures are certainly showing us on there. It's also showing it's got 2 twin choke carburetors and 113 brake horsepower. And you had a choice. You can either get a 4-speed or a 5-speed. The 4-speed having a top speed of 105, the 5-speed 109, and it does talk to you a little bit about that. It says if you do a lot of motorway driving, you'll find the extra gear better in the long run. So it's really trying to sell that 5-speed gearbox, and in the early 70s a 5-speed gearbox, certainly in the UK, was quite a novelty, I guess. A lot of extras it's showing you get as well, and of course if you remember This is a Japanese car, it's Toyota. That's really how they made grounds in the UK, by having all these extras thrown in there, which you didn't tend to get on British cars at the time. British cars used to be very basic. Some of them you lifted the boot or the trunk up, there wasn't even a light in there. So, you know, Japanese cars used to put them little extras on there to make it more appealing. Quite an attractive cloth covered seats there, as you can see, in that sort of two-tone colour. And I think it's a very pretty car overall. Another of these sort of like Coke bottle designs that Ford used to do, and I think it really suits the car well. I think the first generation Celica, in my view, is the prettiest of them all. I think it's a really classy looking design, and you can certainly see some sort of Americanized influences in that design. I particularly like these bumpers or fenders in chrome, how they turn all the way up on the front ups of those indicators. A really nice design. Some people say, you know, the Japanese at this time was always copying other people's designs, and in a way I guess they were to a certain degree, but I think they was doing it exceptionally well in my opinion. Anyway, let's see what else this brochure has to offer. And the back page, yes, this is just one of these sort of like smaller brochures, if you will, but as you can see, in exceptionally good condition for a 1974 brochure. Specifications, like we say, the Toyota Celica 1600 Coupe ST. If you want to know, you know, the cubic capacity is exactly 1588 cc, and like we say, maximum horsepower of 113 brake horsepower. You can have it as a 4 or 5 speed, floor mounted. So yes, it may have been going after sort of like the Mustang in the American market, but you can see the engine is much smaller. But of course the miles per gallon were immeasurably higher than what you would get at a Mustang at this time. Maximum speeds, as we've said, 109 for the 5 speed, 105 for the 4 speed, and you know, whether they did them exactly or whether there was more or less, I certainly think they were impressive for an early 70s car in the UK at least. And you can see it lists all those sorts of equipment. Like I said, a very well equipped car. I say well equipped, but how much did you have to spend on this car? How much was it? Well, we'll have a look at that price list now. And here we have it, the price list. And like I said, this is UK recommended retail prices, and this particular sheet is dated October the 16th, 1974. Your basic Toyota, though, the Toyota 1000 would have been 1,158.30 pounds. A Corolla similar being 1,263 and 60 pence. And it also interestingly shows all the prices. So where is the Celica located in here? Well, it's going between £1,700 and £2,300. So if you look at it compared to like Corollas and that Toyota 1000, you know, it's pretty much going on for double the price. I mean, you could have almost have 2 Corollas for the price of a Celica GT. So it certainly wasn't a cheap car at the time, that Celica. Although we kind of like think of Celica as being a cheap vehicle. You know, it was, if you had to buy one new, you really had to pay for it. It wasn't a cheap form of motoring by any stretch of the imagination. Interestingly also, it shows the different colours there. So your basic Celica ST, so you got your ST 5-speed and your ST 4-speed. You could have it in white, red, yellow, silver metallic and dark brown metallic. If you went for the GT version, you could only have it in white or copper metallic. But it's interesting to see these price lists to give you some kind of like idea of what they were. The most expensive vehicle on here being that Toyota Crown 2600 4-door auto custom estate, just over £2,700. Very rare to see a Toyota Crown anymore. A few Celicas no doubt will still be running around, although certainly these first generation models are becoming quite rare. So there we have it, the Toyota Celica Coupe, first generation, by far my favourite generation of the Celicas. You don't see too many of them around anymore. Certainly rust was an issue, but certainly a car I would have in my dream garage, I guess, particularly in that yellow. Thank you once again for watching Course Light. Let me know what you think. Please put your comments on there about the Celica, or indeed any interesting car that you saw on that price list. More brochures soon to come, so we'll see you very soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe. But for now, we'll say take care and we'll see you very soon. Goodbye.